Hello, everyone, and welcome to What is Innovyze and who should be using this tool. My name is Juliana, and I work in marketing here at MicroCAD. And today's presenter is Tim Corey, our applications engineer. This webinar will contrast the features of SSA versus the new Autodesk offering InfoDrainage. Throughout the webinar, as usual, you can ask a question on the left-hand corner. You can ask Tim to revisit a step or ask any questions. This is your time, and we want you to make the most of it. And in the upper left-hand corner, you will find links to our social media and website. Also, make sure to check our YouTube channel. We post all of our webinars there at the end, so you can share with colleagues or rewatch it on your own time. And without further ado, we'll pass it on to Tim. Hi, Tim.
Okay, hi. Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending today. I'm going to share my screen now so you can see what I'm doing. And I want to do an entire screen, that one, share. Okay, so here I'm going to start with Civil 3D, but let me get into the PowerPoint, just cover a couple of things. My name's Tim Corey. Okay, that's my wonderful picture. You probably think you've seen me in movies and things, but no, that's not really true. Okay, so let's go down to what's Innovyze. So Innovyze was a private firm in Portland, Oregon, specializing in tools for water experts. That includes drainage design, storm and flood modeling, water distribution, okay, as well as water infrastructure asset management. Okay, those are their 4 products that Autodesk now sells through the reseller channel. So any of those, if you're looking to purchase those, you could buy from MicroCAD. So Innovyze is now owned by Autodesk. It's an Autodesk division. Okay. So big deal between InfoDrainage and storm and sanitary analysis, which you're probably already using, or you may be already using, that comes with your Civil 3D. Well, what you do is, that's the old style of design. And so InfoDrainage is going to give you more ability to do sustainable design, different types of filtration systems, and that sort of stuff. Okay. So here's a little blurb on what is Autodesk Storm and Sanitary Analysis. That is this drainage design software for doing hydrology and hydraulics. Okay. Really, it's SSA is what they call hard engineering, where you have an impervious surface, and then you got impervious pipes, and you run it all out and get the water out of there as fast as you can. Don't worry about what particulates are in it, and you dump it off into the stream, and it's off your project, and there you go. Well, InfoDrainage now allows you to do soft engineering, where you can do rain gardens and filtration trenches, of course ponds. You can do ponds with SSA, but here's, for example, porous paving, so you can add porosity to the paving, etc. Okay. Okay, so here's some of a list of different features in InfoDrainage compared to storm and sanitary analysis. Okay, will it do traditional drainage, pipes, channels? Okay, notice impervious, and then junction, etc. Right? So both will do that. But now you want to get into green, sustainable drainage. That's where you need InfoDrainage. Okay. This InfoDrainage has the most recent version of the EPA SWMM engine. It does its simulation's multi-threaded, so it takes advantage of the multi-threaded processors you have in your computer. It does not limit your number of simulations. Okay. It allows different hydrology methods for calculating with catchments. Okay. What else do I need to really point out? Yeah, customizable templates that can speed up starting projects and things like that. The surface model layer, this will read your surface that comes in from Civil 3D, okay, and it allows you to put in cover levels over pipes, and it'll read that surface and adjust your pipes accordingly, okay. Now, with InfoDrainage, we have what's called InfoDrainage, which is a standalone product, and then we have InfoDrainage Ultimate. That's the one that comes with the tools for connecting directly to Civil 3D. That's what I'm going to open up and show you some things in. Okay. Okay, drainage design standard, yep. And then this down here, this traditional menus and toolbars, what they're saying is storm and sanitary analysis has your typical text-based pull-down menus, and there's some toolbar type icons where the interface in storm and sanitary analysis uses a more modern interface using Windows Ribbon menus, which is what AutoCAD uses nowadays too in Civil 3D. Okay, here's an example of some comparative reporting. Here you see we've told it to take the existing conditions compared to the completed design. Here's we ran at a 30-year storm for a 15-minute interval. Here we ran in the winter time, and then in summer, 30-year for 30 minutes, and it compares those. Okay, there's all sorts of water reports here. Here's an example of some of the green drainage infrastructure that InfoDrainage can provide, like creating ponds, filtration trenches, rain gardens. I really noticed rain gardens here in our town. I'm in Northern California, and we've had a Costco here for many years, 20 or 30 years, and they decided to move it. Well, I noticed in the new parking lot in the new Costco, they have all these rain gardens. It's really cool. So they, they're not doing the deal where they bring the water in and gush it down through a storm drain inlet and out to the creek. They run it into the rain garden. It gets filtered by the roots of the plants and by the material, the soil that's in the rain garden, et cetera. And then eventually it finds its way into the exfiltration pipes and lets it drain out. Okay. And I went to the old Costco parking lot and drove around, and it was nothing but hard engineering. It was pavement and storm drain inlets. That was it. So quite a contrast. All right, here's some information for you for when you start using InfoDrainage with Civil 3D. I'm just going to focus on, we're starting in Civil 3D. What you're going to do is you're going to lay out your pipes in Civil 3D using your pipe networks, and then use the InfoDrainage for Civil 3D, which there's a tab right in Civil 3D. It says Innovyze, but it's actually the InfoDrainage Ultimate tools. Okay, so you export, and this writes an InfoDrainage native file. It's not an XML or some other in-between file format. This is an actual InfoDrainage native file. It's like if a software wrote a DWG, right? Native to AutoCAD. Okay, so once I go to InfoDrainage, you can look at the pipes and manholes, and then you can set up the connections. There's rules that you set, so you can say, okay, if a structure comes in and it says it's whatever Civil 3D part, I want you to use this InfoDrainage part at this size. So you set up these connections, and they're saved then in your InfoDrainage file. Okay, and then you do your, once you design, if you make changes, etc., then you'll do your hydraulic analysis. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop over to Civil 3D. Here I have this drawing called Demonstration. All right, so this kind of multicolored, that's an elevation map of a surface. As you can see, I've got a profile over here. This is my main alignment called Jeffries Ranch Road. I have a pipe network created. It's in profile. All right, okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to go here to the Innovyze tab. These are all the Innovyze tools. Now, first I'm going to show you the Part Mapping Manager. You have to do this before you export to InfoDrainage. This one takes a few seconds to load. Okay, good. All right. So as I told you, this gets saved. So we went through earlier and set up these settings, right? This is my connection mappings or my pipe mappings. This is my structure mappings. They call it junction mappings, but these are, you know, things like manholes and storm drain inlets. Okay. Now that is all for import. So in other words, if I'm importing into InfoDrainage, if I'm importing into Civil 3D, coming in would be these from InfoDrainage, and then what do I want it to create in Civil 3D? That's for import. And then for export, I can tell it, okay, if I have a 21-inch concrete pipe, we want to just, in Innovyze, InfoDrainage, it just wants to be a pipe and this size. And we're matching the sizes, of course. Oh, 12-inch went to 15. That's interesting. I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so these are your connection mappings. You can save this to a mappings file if you want. Okay, and then you can always call that back or call it into other projects because they're saved, you know, by default in the drawing when you set them up, but then you can export it, bring it into other drawings. Okay, so now what I would do is I would say, okay, I want to export to InfoDrainage. Create your file or tell it what file you're doing. I'm just going to overwrite this previous one, send to InfoDrainage. Notice the InfoDrainage file format is .iddx. I'm not sure what that stands for. Okay, go next. All right, it's going to show me all my storm networks, pressure networks, sanitary networks, etc., that are in the drawing. I pick which to export. Do I want to send a surface? Sure, I'll send the surface called existing plus finished ground, or FG, and say next. Okay, this is your connections. Now this is for export at this point. And I'm ready to have it do it. I say finish. And in 3 seconds or so, that finished its thing. So then I can pop over into InfoDrainage and just open that file. Okay. Works similarly to AutoCAD as far as if I want to zoom out, I pull on the wheel. If I want to zoom in, I push on the wheel. If I want to pan, I hold the wheel and drag. So just like in AutoCAD/Civil 3D. Okay. Okay, over here on the tree view, these are the actual pipes and structures that I have, or junctions, I should use the right term. The InfoDrainage term they use is junction. Of course, in Civil 3D, we say structure. I'm becoming multilingual. Okay, so here I can go through the tree and see all the different junctions, the different connections. That should be the pipes. Oops, I checked them off. Here's my any inflows I don't have. Don't have any stormwater controls. Okay, so what I would need to do then is I'm going to at least need an inflow. Okay, so I'll just tell it up here at the top. I'm going to grab an inflow over here in Tools. This is how you add different drainage parts, right? So here's an inflow or base flow. Drag that over, just drop it on the screen somewhere. And then what you do is just tell it connect that to that structure, and you see the special glyph that shows up. It's like an O snap in AutoCAD, sort of, right? Or the Civil, you know how Civil 3D, when you're doing pipes, you get a special glyph that makes it snap to a structure or snap to a pipe. That's what they're doing here in InfoDrainage. Okay, now I would adjust this base flow. Okay, maybe I want to start off with, what's a base flow going to be? 2 CFS maybe? Okay, so I've set that. Then the very first thing I would do is go in here and go to Analysis and validate the design. This is going to show me where I have errors. Okay, I need to get these fixed. I can simply go here, do a check mark, and it'll do automatic fixing of much of this. Okay, now if I go back, validate again, those errors are gone, but you can see here, okay, I've got my runtime set to 0. Well, that's not much of an analysis, 0 minutes, so let's do a 20-minute runtime. Okay, and then down here we have an invert elevation that's greater than the cover elevation. I can simply type in a new cover elevation if I want. Something like that. Now try validate. Now I'm okay. And if I want to tell it to run the analysis, I can say go here. And there I have my analysis. So it's going to show me this first connection here. This pipe is fine, Flood risk here. This one is surcharged. That one's surcharged. So I've got some cleaning up to do to make this right. All right. Once you've made changes for your design, you can do a save as, some different name, and then back over here in Civil 3D, we have import from InfoDrainage, and this reads directly the InfoDrainage file. Once again, there's no export to land XML or any other file formats. Just InfoDrainage, we save the file. It's a .idx. In Civil 3D, we import it, and we're good to go. Okay. I think I've, yeah. So that's what I had to say. I will take any questions anyone has. Happy to cover those.
Thank you, Tim, for that wonderful presentation. And yes, as he mentioned, you can ask a question on the left-hand corner. Also, if you want to learn any of these topics in detail, you can always take a custom training with Tim or someone else on our team. We also offer group classes online. So yeah, we have coming up next bring BIM data to your pre-construction process with Assemble. That will be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we have on August 3rd, Level Up with AppChain at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So yeah, make sure to check our website for future webinars. And that concludes our webinar today. Thank you everyone for attending. And thank you, Tim, for your presentation.
Thank you. Yep. Right on. I'll stick on just a sec here, Juliana.
Okay.
Okay.